The drive did not happen in 2014 as per plan because we didn't get leave. A year later, we went, and because I was not sure that I'll get leave, I literally walked in keeping the resignation ready. That if he says no, I'm going to send a resignation, but I'm doing this trip. We were told Uzbekistan, you can't wear shorts. The moment they got to know that we're from India, they all created a circle around us.
What was your route?
No idea how it would work. We just had Google Maps. Those days, Google Maps were not so how they are today. Then what we did is we picked up expedition maps because you don't get them in India. And in my house, an entire wall, I turned it into a softboard and I put all those maps.
2 weeks before the trip, imagine all visas are done, everything is almost getting completed, dates are finalized. 2 weeks before the start date, earthquake hit that day.
You will not believe the kind of people go crazy to see Indians because Indians don't, they love Bollywood.
Jimmy,
Aja, Aja, yes.
As we were crossing, one of the cars had an issue. So the clutch was getting stuck. You could have done the drive with half the clutch, but we just had to stop.
So in this episode of Generation Speed Pathfinders, we speak to Medha and Sujal, two women who quit their corporate jobs and did a road trip from Hyderabad to Casablanca and then came back and started arranging trips like these for a living. Hi Medha and Sujal.
Hi.
So, basically this road trip about yours, okay? You all have traveled twice now from Bangalore to Europe. First time was to
Morocco.
Casablanca. Second time was to Spain.
Correct.
Right? And this is not a trip that you sit and you decide that, fellow, I'm sure it happens that you're sitting and everyone's in a nice melancholic mood and stuff like that, and they say, oh, we've got to do something. What are we doing? Ragraving over here and this and that. Let's go. Let's do something. Let's do a overland trip. The next day, reality kicks in. How did you manage to make this big talk happen into this big trip?
So I think in 2014, Joe, Medha and I, we were all sitting together in Bombay. Joe is Medha's husband. And Joe, Medha and I were sitting together in Bombay. And we got to read somewhere that, it's entirely land connected and someone has done something like this. It was a very vague idea. And we said, okay, before 40, we should do something crazy. So we kind of literally opened up the maps and we saw, okay, it is land connected and it can be done. And the second thing we thought was that it should be a little bit of what we've always wanted to do. So few names came up that, one of us said that we want to do Casablanca, kabhi gaye nahi hai. We heard of the movie. One of us said, I have to do Mansarovar. Someone said that, we have to cross that Aksai Chin region and so on and so forth. So that's how the route got planned essentially. We said, okay, we want to touch upon everyone's bucket list item. So the route got planned that way. We actually stuck to it because, three of us were crazy enough and we got three more people to join in. The drive did not happen in 2014 as per plan because we didn't get leave and two of us were working in corporate at that point of time. But we followed up with the boss a year later because it said 1 saal ke baad chutti milega. So a year later we went, and I remember with me, because I was not sure that I'll get leave, I literally walked in keeping the resignation ready. That if he says no, I'm going to send a resignation, but I'm doing this trip. I think it was same for Joe, pretty much the same, because you were in HR at a fairly senior position. Who gives 2 mahine ka chutti? I mean, so that's how it came about. I think it was meant to happen.
And what was your route for the trip?
So the first trip, and as she said, right, it was our bucket list, honestly, of places we wanted to go. So we all wanted to go to Moscow. We all wanted to drive on a Moscow. All wanted to drive on an Autobahn. And we all said, you can't end it like this. Morocco is one again. And then we said, okay. So it was technically Mumbai, Moscow, Morocco it started.
Yeah, that's
how it started. And no idea how it would work. We just had Google Maps, and those days Google Maps were not so how they are today. Then what we did is we picked up expedition maps because you don't get them in India from London, the Strand bookstall. So we had at least 20 expedition maps from these different countries. And in my house, an entire wall, I turned it into a softboard and I put all those maps together like one after the other and started mapping the route. And Mansarovar, as she said, was like something that was very exciting. And we said we have to cross through Mansarovar, Aksai Chin and in Central Asia. And pretty much that's how the route got chalked out. That from India, first we go to Moscow.
So how did you go? You went from India into Nepal?
Yeah, so you go from India into Nepal, then you cut across Tibet region. The original
Plan was that.
original plan was that you drive across Mansarovar into Aksai Chin, you get into Central Asia.
Kashgar.
Yeah, Kashgar, also called as Kashi, is one of the oldest cities on the Silk Route. And
Most
from there you
probably.
get into Kyrgyzstan, which we didn't even know how to pronounce it. Then Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, because we wanted to go to Samarkand and Bukhara. I mean, that was like, we had to take a detour, we would take a detour. Then enter Russia, go to Moscow, and then from Moscow enter via Poland into Europe.
Belarus also.
Yeah, so Belarus,
Huh.
Poland, and then drive around in Europe. And again, a few bucket list items of we want to go to Austria, we want to go to Germany, and then come to Spain. And then from Spain, we decided we'll go to Morocco.
But did you get to go to Aksai Chin and all that?
No.
So that is
No. So what happened then?
Yeah, very interesting.
So I think 2 weeks before the trip, imagine all visas are done, everything is almost getting completed, dates are finalized. 2 weeks before the start date, earthquake hit that region. And everything changed. We couldn't. In fact, one family who was traveling along the same route got stuck there. There was no way we could have crossed it through that. So last minute, in the last 15 days, it was a complete crazy run. We had to cross from Myanmar into China. So in 2015, the Myanmar-China border was open for the locals and the civil people. Huh.
Yeah, really.
Roili border. And that was the route we had to take. So the Mansarovar part had to be dropped. And from China, then the rest of the route was same. From Kashgar, we went into Kyrgyzstan and then subsequently Central Asia and so on.
So okay, fine. But okay, it's one thing to have a map on the wall, draw a line across. But physically, like how do you manage the red tape, the bureaucracy, and all that? All these countries, though they don't have welcoming committees and borders, they treat all this fair bit of suspicion, right? Especially Indians traveling overland. So how do you manage all that? How did you even start off to figure out what kind of documentation I need, what kind of visas do I need? Will a normal travel insurance work? Does my car need an insurance? Stuff like that.
So a lot of research to begin with, and what we did is we first figured out if anybody has done this journey, and there were a very few people who had done this kind of a journey. So we went and met them. So wherever they were in India, we actually went, traveled just to go and meet them and understand how did they go about it and what is needed. So that was a first-hand information, but it took a lot of time, to find that person, establish contact, then go and meet him. And the other is a lot of online research through different forums, and I would personally, I had invested a lot of time in it, writing to different people. That's we got to know that you need a separate insurance called as Carne. Not insurance, it's a document for your vehicle.
Passport for your car.
So it's like a passport for your car, because you're taking an Indian registered vehicle across so many countries. Technically, then you'll have to pay import duty when you bring that car back into India. So you need to have a Carne. Now we figured security deposit with the Automobile Association of India, which is 200% of the
car.
value of your car, invoice value of your car, not even current value. So there were many such things. And then visas. Back then we needed visas for every single country. Then we figured out that we found out one gentleman in Delhi who was into getting visas done. So we went and met him, and then we planned how we should get these visas organized, because they had to be stamped visa. We didn't want a group visa anywhere, because if there is an emergency and somebody has to come back, and if you have a group visa, you get stuck. We contacted tons of agents across all these countries asking for information, and that's how you keep filtering down. And so it took us 2 years of planning actually for all this.
Yeah.
Which vehicle will sustain the entire journey, how much to pack, what to pack. So there's a lot of fun, exciting prep.
The two Land Cruisers, you already did 2 Toyota Land Cruisers.
Yes.
Did you modify the car in any way, or
Yes.
did you need, for example, did you worry about the fuel you'll get, the quality of fuel you'll get on the way? Then you need to carry any spare parts.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, of course. So Land Cruisers, we changed the suspension, because the stock suspension wouldn't hold the weight, because we were 3 people in one vehicle with all our luggage and the jerry cans for fuel. So we had roof racks
Spare.
also. So considering, and then we've we are going through some rough terrains. So as a safety aspect, so to balance all that weight, we had to change the suspension. We raised our cars a little, again better ground clearance, all-terrain tires again. Then we got a lot of spares, everything from your air filters to oil change, even the plugs, electrical plug, everything, like anything that could go wrong, because original route was via Mansarovar. And there, if you need to have your own, people can help, they can't get your spare parts available easily, so we had to plan all that, spare tires, two spare tires.
So was there a problem getting all these spare parts across borders?
No. So what you have to do is you have to make a list, you have to declare everything, and that gets checked. And some of the heavy equipment you can mention in your company as well. So then as consumables and stuff like that. So
So you mentioned, I thought you mentioned this. Did everything go according to plan A? That didn't happen because you had to change your route.
The route. Oh yeah.
So when the whole earthquake happened, right, the basic one is that we can't take that route. Two is all the planning, because you're going through Mansarovar, high altitude, extreme cold weather. So our packing was based accordingly, right? Everything. And now suddenly you're going through Myanmar and China, the region which is super hot. So we had to go and shop last minute for stuff and change our packing. And we were driving more distance to drive through Myanmar. And China has very strict rules. So China, if you've mentioned that we are going to enter this border on this date, then you are expected to enter that date. You can't say I'll enter because my visa is valid, I'll enter the next day. You can't do that. Today the rules are a little relaxed, but back then they were very strict, and you're supposed to exit on a particular day, you have to exit on that particular day. So it was a mad rush within India. We were driving 16 hours every day to reach the Imphal border, and from there and from
Boré and
correct, and then all the way Myanmar, and then
You must have gone to Karu, no. From there you must have gone to Mandalay. From Boré to Mandalay, right?
From Moreh to Mandalay. Yeah.
yeah, right,
Yeah, we met
Yeah.
Mandalay.
right, and then up to Rohili,
Really?
and from there to Chengdu,
Chengdu.
and then
Polar bears.
Just to add to the whole plan B scenario, in Vishakhapatnam, as we were crossing, one of the cars had an issue. So the clutch was getting stuck. You could have done the drive with half the clutch, but we just had to stop. Kya hi karoge? So we had to stop there. We had to fly in the part from Dubai. So we lost 3 days there. So the reason why we lost 3 days there. Our China entry was fixed. So we had to, like she said, we had to enter on a particular day. Literally someone from Dubai came down with the part to Hyderabad and then subsequently to Isaac. The Toyota there was kind enough to keep the garage open on a weekend. There was no one else, it was just us. The whole process, I think the entire team was into that Toyota trying to pump oil, trying to, get that clutch working somehow. I think we understood a little more about the whole thing during that time. So we lost 3 days there, 3 nights. And the reason why we were doing 16 hours a day after that was because we had to cross the India border on a particular date. Also, because there was not so much a frame of reference at that time. Like now, people, lots of people have done this. We were not sure also how the borders are, how strict are they? Time pe nahi kiya to kya karenge? Will you get stuck in the no man's land? What happens? So we were ensuring that we follow those dates as well. But yeah, that was quite crazy.
Okay. So then, stuff like food, fuel, stay, cash, internet data, maps. How did you manage all this?
So
Because these are, it's not Europe or England or UK or US,
Yeah.
right? These are all basically countries. Some of them are even not as developed as India. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and plus China, you can't use Google.
Correct.
yeah,
So how did you manage?
So the good part about China is that they give you a guide from the time you enter the border till the time you exit the border. And that guide has to be there with you 24/7. The guide lives with you, travels with you. The route is fixed. You can't change the route. You can't go and wander around in China with an India registered card. So वो सारा पहले submit करना पड़ता है. You have to submit the route, you have to submit the dates, the car chassis number से लेके everything has to go to them. So that part is taken care by them. The challenge was in Central Asia. And the challenge was not the actual terrain, but the perceptions that were created about Central Asia by people,
It is quite flat and nice.
It's quite nice.
Yeah.
People are lovely. We were told Uzbekistan, you can't wear shorts, you can't drink the water. So we were carrying water filters also with us. you know, the preparation was to that extent, and we were told that, you know, just it's not safe, just drive through and so on and so forth. And we entered Uzbekistan, Kokan village. The first night itself, the entire town was in one square partying. And the moment they got to know that we are from India, they all created a circle around us and they made us dance in between. And it was crazy experience. I mean, we were like, "Ye kya Uzbek? This is a completely different Uzbekistan that we've imagined, right?"
Yeah.
From absolutely, and we were carrying kurtas and all for Uzbekistan to wear so that
Yeah.
you don't have to wear sleeveless and you don't have to wear shorts. So we were battling the perceptions more, I think. But the people are fantastic. The experience was nice. I'll just add about food. We had reached a point, by the time we reached Kazakhstan, I think we had reached a point, if it's edible, eat. Do not ask what meat it is, do not ask what it is made of, because there is no way to figure out. Half the time, translate will not work. Exactly. So we were making those sounds. So if it's moo, it's, so we would ask, is this moo? She'll say yes. Oink oink,
Yeah.
or
Bam.
bang. It's so she would just make the chef would just say yes to any one of the sounds. There's no guarantee that it's that meat. You pretty much eat it. If it's edible, eat. Because if you've seen in Kazakhstan, for miles,
also.
Yeah.
In Kyrgyzstan and Uzbekistan, they eat horses. So in Kazakhstan, there'll be miles and miles of barren land, completely barren. Then there'll be one little cafe, which will be run by one lady who would have cooked, cleaned, done everything, and she would have made one dish. You want to eat, you eat. Otherwise, you can go back to your packed food. We were carrying a lot of packed food. We survived on a lot of ready-to-eat stuff as well. So
So it would be fair to say that if you do the trip again or second trip, your luggage was down by at least half.
absolutely, absolutely, so much unnecessary stuff you end up carrying because of the fears that get created, right? Water filters we ordered from Europe because in India again you don't know, so we thought that we have to filter every drop of water we drink in Central Asia.
Yeah.
By the end of it, you're just, I mean, any bottle, anything, any water does. So, from of your head, okay? What, I mean, that kind of experience, that bloody hell, thank God I did this trip, because this is the kind of experience I wouldn't have ever got by flying to a place or taking a train or taking a bus. No, I'm so glad I drove. You know, anything that just stands out.
Couple of things. I think couple of things. One is in China. Now this is an experience that you get when you're border crossing, right? Suddenly Kashgar was shut. We were stuck there for 3-4 days. We had nothing to do. We were walking around. In a place like Kashgar, now people started knowing us also because there were only these 4-5 foreigner faces that you see. We had suddenly got our favorite restaurant and stuff like that. But we met some amazing people. So there are two people who possibly, I'm mixing the timeline, but two people we met who stand out. One was a guy, and there again, it was a moment where we wanted to hide under the table. There was a guy, because we were 6 of us in nice Land Cruisers, spacious, lots of stuff, water filters and tires. And this is one guy who impromptu decided to cycle from China to Poland. Chota sa cycle, he had like this little bag where the Land Cruisers were getting swayed by the wind in those towns. You're like, how are you even managing it, right? So that was one experience. Second was this one lady, again, you know, a slap in the face for all the perceptions that get created. She was hitchhiking through Central Asia, a Japanese lady with truckers, with whatever vehicles that she was getting.
Yeah.
She was completely, hitchhiking through Central Asia for 6 months. So those experiences, I don't think you can get if you're, flying from one point to the other. You want to talk about that China?
So the other fun part, experiences is that same guy on the cycle, right? Now, border crossing rules say you can't cross the border on a cycle. So he put his cycle on our Land Cruiser. He sat with us. We just literally crossed the border, whatever those 2 kilometers. And then he got down and he said, I have this one stuff he has got for gift for his girlfriend. There's like a ball of whatever stuff that he had wrapped. He said, you're going to Poland. You'll be crossing Warsaw. She'll come and pick it up. Just let me know where you are. And he was a guy who had never done cycling in his life. Somebody told him you should cycle. So he picked up a cycle and he was cycling. And he was a lawyer. He had taken a break, how Europeans don't need visa. So they just go and wherever. So we said, okay. So imagine as travelers, we never doubted or you never think. You're like, okay. So we just took his stuff and his girlfriend actually met us and she got some lovely desserts for us and we gave the stuff. So Or in Central Asia, I mean, you will not believe the kind of people go crazy to see Indians, because Indians don't,
Yeah.
they love Bollywood music.
Jimmy, Aja,
Aja, Aja,
They
yes.
start dancing on Jimmy Jimmy.
Yeah,
Aja.
and they, like when you're crossing the border, they'll call out names. Oh, Preeti and Aishwarya Rai. You feel like a royal, like you're driving. Like in China, we used to experience it. You're driving, and there's this. First of all, you're driving with Indian cars on the other side of the road. You're driving, and then there is this car which is trying to drive past. You think he wants to overtake, not overtake. Then you realize, yeah,
They're taking a
they're
video.
taking a video. So we were like royals. We would wave our hands and all. Wonderful till you come to Russia, and then you come to Europe, and then you feel like, okay.
So I have to tell you
Nobody
one funny thing. So by the time you're entering Europe, like she said, you're feeling like royalty, like celebrity kinds. People are taking pictures, they're taking videos, and then we were in Prague, and our head was in the air, like what we have done, such big accomplishment. We were in some shop in Prague, and this lady started chatting with us, the shop lady, and she's like, "Oh, you're all from India," and we're like, "Yeah, do you know we drove all the way here?" And she's like, "But why? Did you get flight tickets?" And we're like, "Okay, back to completely
Yeah.
ground." So it's not a big deal for them, but anyway.
So now 6 people, okay, in 2 cars for 2 months. So obviously any fights, disagreements, accidents, run-ins with the laws, deportations,
Thankfully,
Yeah.
deportation.
murders,
Yeah, we can't find the 6th person.
So I used to joke about, because Sujal, me, and Joe are friends. I'm like, I have to live with you two. And I said, Joe, if you're gonna sit in a box for like, you're literally driving and living in that vehicle, I said, for 2 months, and if we survive, then our marriage is gonna stay forever. We don't know whether we'll come out and divorce or we'll like come out of the. But jokes apart, we didn't have any fights or disagreements. I think we were all, the spirit of the whole trip was that, no matter what happens, we will make this happen, and we did face few challenges. Like we got stuck in Kashgar, and we had to change the bookings, and your visa is not valid, is valid. Going through the way we had mapped the route was like go through some really remote borders, because you want to explore the countryside, you want to see what is there out there, right? I mean, just doing the touristy stuff that you can do anyway, that you can fly and do. So we would just stop by, a stream is flowing, we would stop by, wash our shoes, just lie down, because you're on a
No agenda.
no agenda. It was
Such a
trip. I think
No, we had fights. We had fights which were more operational level. See,
Yeah.
what had happened was, because she had worked on the entire route, right? So the entire sketch of the plan was, etched in her head, and all of us had accepted it. So whenever there was any disagreement in terms of kaun sa route lena ya kuch, nobody else, had a strong opinion. So we pretty much would turn to her to say, okay, now, is there a plan, second plan there or whatever. The fights would happen more because you're in each other's face for 24/7. Yeah. How much can you take? Even husband wife can't take each other so much. So किसी को भूख लग रहा है तो वो hangry हो रहा है, खाना नहीं मिल, or you've got
angry, yeah.
the hangry syndrome caused a lot of fights. But otherwise, it was fairly smooth, because we knew that we have to listen to whatever her plan was, and just.
So after the trip, after you came back from the trip, how did your company embark with on these road trips? Basically, you specialize in bespoke road trips. Either you can go a group departure, or you all will create an itinerary, and you will create a plan for some. Basically, you will facilitate someone who wants to go on their own.
Yes.
Right? So how did that idea come about?
So when we were doing this trip, right, and we did it for ourselves. So we never spoke about it or write too many. And those days we didn't have reels and Instagram and anything. We did it for ourselves. But we did have a Facebook page for our family back. So we would post updates every single day. And there were like organically some 4,000 followers, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of Malayalam Panorama, and there were some other publications, they followed our stuff, what was happening on Facebook, and they wrote articles which we were not aware of. We never thought of anything like this. But when we came back, and the kind of comments and people were asking us so many questions, we realized that people want to do this. It's just that they don't have the time to invest. Like, I was lucky enough that I had taken a sabbatical and I could invest so much time in all the research, going, meeting people, chalking out every single detail, so that whenever there is a challenge, because if there is no challenge, the journey is going to be actually boring. You would want to have some challenges. But yeah, so that is where, and of course, you do something like this, right? It's a life-changing experience. I mean, you come back, it's very difficult to go back to a 9 to 5 or a corporate job.
Absolutely. See, the fact that you've survived possibly the best 2 months of your life in a duffel bag makes you just come back and look at all the clutter that you've built at home, right? I mean, it's so unnecessary that you realize, uh, and you just can't go back and stare at an Excel after this. You have to do something different.
How much did this, let's to give a ballpark figure, how much did it cost at that time in 2015?
In 2015,
As basically one car with 3 people or one car with 4 people. I have an idea.
so I'm leaving because we bought those cars specifically for this drive. So I'm leaving that aside. But it did cost us about 15 lakhs per head. 15
Per
lakhs
person.
per person.
Per head. So
Per
this
head.
includes getting the car back to India also.
Yes. So from Morocco, we shipped the cars back to Chennai.
So 15 lakhs per head. So that means, so even if 3 people go in one car, it will be 15 lakhs per head.
Yes.
More or less, it doesn't matter how many people because the cost is for your paperwork. Like China, they charge you because you have a guide which is there with you throughout.
Can you go to Aksai Chin now? You can now.
You can, but the borders are closed. They're not giving permission.
No,
Yeah,
no.
but for civilians to cross like this, they're still not allowing.
You can go to, I know you can go to China. You can go to Tibet.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can.
But I don't know whether they can go to Kashgar from Tibet.
Kashmir to Kyrgyzstan you can.
But they can go to
Mansarovar nahi ja sakte.
Mansarovar.
For Indians, Mansarovar and that whole patch
Yeah.
is
So they keep off late, post pandemic, they have been changing the rules very
Big time,
often. Like they announced that it's allowed, and in 1 week time they'll just shut it down. So there's no because you need so much planning, right? You can't just decide to go.
So
easier to go.
So basically, you could have started Embark without doing this trip.
No. So we never thought of Embark. So to answer your previous question, right? So when we came back from the trip and when we got that entire feedback from people and we saw that they're so interested in it, while on the trip we were discussing actually that we should start doing road trips for a living. Like it'll be so fun because all of us like love travel. We have always traveled and we all love driving. So when we came back, I think we came back in August. I came to Bombay to meet Sujal to
September.
seriously discuss this, and we put some plans together. We said, okay, so what do we want to do under M? And we decided we will do road trips. We will do road trips to offbeat destinations where you can't go on your own. Either it's overland or you go to a particular country and explore it, by road. Because when you fly in, you're just ticking, you're just ticking the checkbox. You're just doing a few things. So we decided we put some plans together how we want to do that. We'll go recce a destination. We will do it in a convoy format and all that. And in October, we just registered the company. And we were like, okay, where do you want to do your first road trip? And we were like, Kyrgyzstan. And we were there in Kyrgyzstan for 2 days on that big trip, Morocco trip.
Yeah, but unanimous.
We were like, we have to do a road trip in Kyrgyzstan. It is so stunningly beautiful and so rustic.
2016 was the first trip.
First trip.
In that country.
Yes. So 2016 is when we started doing trips under Embark.
It was superb. Yeah.
So I'll just add to what inspired the whole format of this trip. We when you're crossing borders, especially through China, Central Asia, you meet a lot of Western people from UK and Europe doing that regularly, and for them it's pretty regular. They'll just take their car, they'll just take their bike, they'll go across a country. If they need a visa, they'll turn around, they'll cross to some other country. You don't see any Indians do that. At least back then, you didn't see any Indians do that. And then you realize that Indians, when they go abroad, there is so much of hesitation to drive that, what happens with the navigation, what happens if the car breaks down. Usually there's only one driver. What if I feel tired? Is language an issue? Car backup, this and that. So we thought that we can create a product which takes care of all these things. So the person can just drive, enjoy the refined experience and focus on the whole, scenery and the experiences around. So that's where I think the whole format kind of was born with so much of clarity. I think the trip in itself is so inspiring that you can't get enough of it. You don't want it to end. You want to do this the rest of your life. So I think that calling was somewhere, had taken form during the trip itself. Being in corporate 15 years, you also reach a point where you we've all, I think, reached a point where we started wanting to do something else. So the pull here was much stronger than the push. We found something which was so exciting
Yeah.
that not that we were suffering in corporate, we were having a great time. All of us had fantastic jobs. We were, doing well. But this time around, the pull was so strong that the what we are leaving behind didn't matter at all. Uh, and it was difficult. I mean, suddenly no salary, suddenly you're putting in more money. We had already exhausted our savings on the trip. We hardly took 2 months to start another company. God has been kind, but we got a lot of support from the family. I think Joe was a fantastic support, continues to be. My parents, they all stood rock solid. They went a little crazy. They were a little baffled. They were like, "Really, you want to become tour managers?" Leaving, and we said, "Yeah, we want
So
to."
both of you are MBAs, right?
Yes,
Yes.
So you all have both had solid corporate careers.
yes,
Solid.
Yeah. So
Which you all
the
could have carried on for the rest of your life.
yeah.
Yes.
So two things. The original trip. I think one of the very motivating factors was we all love driving. We all love traveling. More than traveling, it's exploring. So the thought of that for 2 months you're going to be a nomad.
Hmm.
You're just going to be driving, exploring new places. There is no 9 to 5. It's not like I wake up and there is a to do. It's just drive. I feel like stopping by new cultures, new people. And personally, if you ask me, something that was exciting was crossing the Indian border physically. When you
Yeah,
fly, you're
yeah.
just flying out, right? Like it gave me goosebumps, and it gives me goosebumps even now. And how does a border work? Because it's all connected, right? And you create so much fuss about the visas, passports, and all, but it's just a border, and people are so similar across borders, right? And the India Myanmar you have crossed, right? So there's a bridge over a
Friendship bridge.
yeah. It's called the Friendship Bridge, and half of it is painted in silver, half of it is painted in yellow, and you just cross the bridge and you're in a different country. And
And the little
yeah,
shack is there.
so
Oh,
earlier there
that
was a
was so
shack, and
funny
they didn't
that
even know how to stamp
immigration-
your passport.
I know you turn the thing for him 3 days later, dated, then you stamp your
Yeah.
passport.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
Now-
stamp here, stamp here.
But now there's a fantastic, huge passport control office and premises
in India.
on the Tamu border.
In India.
Yeah. And when you,
I had to go and look for the guy. He was sleeping.
हमारे टाइम पे they were wearing banyans and playing football
Yeah,
outside.
Myanmar side, you remember?
Bachas, yeah.
They refused to
But-
process. They said, no, the match is going on, so you sit here for 1 hour. So we sat and watched the match with them for 1 hour. Now, if you go, they have a
Now it's
really
set, yeah.
nice premises and they have a huge Indian flag. It feels so amazing when you drive in to see that flag. Under Embark, we did one more trip with clients.
How many cars?
6 cars?
6 cars.
Six cars from here to
Spain. Yeah, that was
That was
some
fun.
experience
Yeah.
again.
That was
Because
fun.
first trip was personal, so you're still,
But this was a very polished experience because
Yeah.
you could apply all the learning.
Everything,
Absolutely.
everything.
There
absolutely.
was no.
Not
Yeah.
one place we were stopped for paperwork, not one place something was missing.
And now you have jacks in all the countries.
Yes.
In Uzbekistan.
Yeah, I mean,
Can we say partners?
yeah, I know.
Partners.
Yeah.
But yeah, very strong
So-
partners now.
I mean, a lot of people just come to us, just they want to talk, they want to have some information. Okay, I've done everything else, but I'm stuck in Central Asia or I'm stuck in Russia. We help out the whole idea, though we are running a commercial, like Embark is our travel company, but I think
But
we
it's
both have
fun,
helped
yeah.
so many people, every end to end. I mean, you don't have to worry about anything. But I didn't actually tell you, right? Like the funny part is we first when we decided to go in 2014, we put all the maths together. We realized we don't even have so much money in our savings. We need to work for 1 month.
No, then we took one more year, no? That's what we did.
And
Fuck you! You walk on my
yeah, and for me and Joe, it was twice over, right? Because two of us going. So then we had a house in Pune. We sold a house
Yeah.
to fund ourselves for the trip. Like when we realized that how much money it takes to do this trip, and we realized we don't even have that money in our savings. One is it helped to work for 1 more year and save some money. And then for me and Joe, it was twice over because two of us were involved. And then you think of what if there's a contingency? It's not just cut 15 lakhs. You need to keep some money aside for any contingency that arises. So all that. So then we had a house in Pune. We were living in Hyderabad then. We had a house in Pune, which
Like an investment house.
yeah, it's an investment house. And I'm like, this trip is an investment for me. And in a second, we both decided, let's sell the house. So we sold the house and we put that money in this trip. And yeah, our parents were a little baffled, but they know that we both we really wanted to make this happen. So we said it's an investment. The trip is an investment. Like what you learn when you travel and the way it changes your perspective. I think you can't get enough no matter how much you study. And so yeah, it was very interesting.